I'm here in Goodwill on the hunt for rare Labubus.
Labubu.
Okay, I lied. I just thought if I mentioned something socially acceptable, you guys would hear what I had to say. So today we're gonna ask, does Goodwill improve your art skills? And I'm not talking about finding discounted art supplies. I'm asking, can you go from a complete amateur to a professional artist just by going to Goodwill every single day? Have you ever wanted to draw something specific but couldn't imagine its details or composition? Maybe you wanted to draw a dual-wielding tennis racket ninja but don't have the imagination to make it look good. Luckily, Goodwill has a bunch of useless junk that you could use as props for your art studies. But the question is, what useless junk am I gonna draw for this video? Well, I found these snowboards and I was thinking maybe I could do a snowboarding drawing. But how can I make it have an interesting composition? Maybe I could hit a low angle and pretend I'm going up a huge ramp. There were actually a lot of people at Goodwill, so I got kind of nervous. These were actually pretty hard to put on, so I had to scoot away every time I saw someone. But yeah, I was kind of bored of drawing things that are in your face. I was kind of more in the mood for something more subtle. Maybe I should try drawing an upward shot. So I landed on this, and yeah, it might not look as cool as the other shots. But isn't that the point of art, to make the ordinary into the extraordinary? The style I try to go for when I'm doing references is having the human body snap and crack. I sort of think about it like posing a bionicle or something. Obviously the reference isn't all crazy because my body can't do that, but that's a challenge for me as an artist, to try to exaggerate the features. But now that I think about it, am I exaggerating it too much? I mean, I feel like I've been here before. I've already drawn this already. Am I beating the dead horse that is drawing a character reaching its hands out to a fisheye lens? It's kind of like how anime characters are so strong that they could blow up a planet with one single touch, but their explosions are the same exact size as they were in season 1. Is that what's gonna happen to me? Is my perspective art gonna be so good that I'm gonna go full circle and just draw carnival art? I feel like I'm gonna have a hard time putting any personality into this drawing. I mean, the hand is covering a good majority of it. I mean, what the hell can you even get from this drawing? This guy likes putting his hand into camera or what? Okay, enough of this psycho rant. I think I'm just gonna have to go back and just erase it and start over. But man, I really put some detail in that hand. Oh, I don't want it to go waste. No, I'm gonna erase this because I haven't been drawing for the right reasons. I started drawing because it was a fun escape. I never wanted to become a tryhard. So we're gonna erase this because I'm gonna start drawing for fun. Just kidding. I'm not gonna erase the whole thing. There are things I still want to keep about this drawing, like the calves. But yeah, I felt like I drew these with a good shape and curve. So yeah, we're gonna redo that upper body. But when you start to redo things, you want to redo everything. You start to see imperfections in everything and you go on an erasing spree. But yeah, I was hyper fixated on this butt right here. And this is a reference of my own butt. So what level of narcissism am I even on right now? But yeah, butts are such a highly sensitive thing to draw because you don't want to draw it too flat because who wants a flat ass? But you don't want to make it too big because this is not a hentai. Yeah, I'm at this awkward stage right now where I don't know how to go about drawing this character's butt. And that means going through trial and error. And sometimes that error is drawing Rigby's butt. It was just really frustrating not understanding this part of anatomy. And when you're frustrated, the best thing you could do is just look at the bigger picture and try to simplify it as best you can. So instead of looking at it as 3 separate shapes, I simplified it to just one shape. But after I did this, it gave the perspective a lot more depth than before. So I somewhat diverged away from the original reference because I've changed my vision on how I want this drawing to be. Therefore, I'm gonna Frankenstein 2 different references to create one drawing. And you're probably wondering, why not just go back to Goodwill and do the pose again? Well, I'm banned for being racist. Anyways, this part shouldn't be too hard. I'm just gonna draw a beanbag body with a marshmallow head. Alright, so we gotta have a cool snowboard graphic. I'm thinking like Rick and Morty rolling tray vibes. I'm just kidding. How about I try to draw a cute mascot? So I went ahead and tried to draw a personification of myself. So here it is, my persona. It's basically me, but more of a badass and kind of a stoner that loves smiling friends. Alright, the truth is that I took some inspiration from this obscure mascot, Super Flying Boy, the national mascot for circumcision. But yeah, the idea was to make an edgy version of this dog, bunny, I don't know what the fuck this is. The thing I appreciate the most about anime is that these artists, they put a lot of rhythm and flow to these characters' designs. They have a really unique way of putting together these characters, from their fashion to their body proportions to even some weird accessories. And sometimes the fashion can even be the composition. So I'm going to try and apply that same rhythm to my character. And we're starting off with the feet. So we're going to start off with these bootstraps, but the picture's a bit muddy and it looks a little complicated to draw. So instead, I'm going to draw these belts that wrap around the feet pretty tightly. So my approach was to create quick strokes with my pencil. I felt like creating these straight shapes could convey the tension of the straps. I ended up being unhappy with the result, and I realized there needed to be a silhouette within the silhouette, which just means I changed the shapes to make it more readable. So now you could tell that they're tight because they look tight. Okay, now I'm gonna go for the pants, and I'm gonna make them skinny jeans. I really liked how I made the shapes of the legs, and I don't want to mess that up by drawing baggy pants, so skinny's the way for me. I'm going to start off by drawing them bunched up at the bottom because of the straps. And now for the middle part of the leg, the weenus or whatever. This is the part where I want the pants to look really tight because the leg is extending really crazily. So I made the fabric of the pants to look like veins. It ended up looking like muscle anatomy, but I think that's good because I'm trying to convey the leg being stretched to its limit. And now we're gonna do the opposite with the other leg. Since the knee is bending, we're gonna make the bunched up part look like a chaotic explosion. The way I'm gonna make a contrast to these skinny jeans is making a baggy jacket. I'm still going to create some quick strokes, but they're gonna be a lot more chaotic. But yeah, I'm trying to vary the line art to have some scrunchy parts, some tight parts, some flowy parts. Now it's time for the hard part, the undershirt. I'm not really sure what fabric the undershirt should be. Should it be tight like the pants or flowy like the sweater? It was just really hard to make the fabric look interesting while also showing that the torso is turning. So I decided to go for a happy medium. Not too tight, not too baggy. So his undershirt is going to be a flowy button up, which I think is going to be a great in-between for the middle part of this drawing. So, does Goodwill improve your art skills? Yes, maybe, kinda. Okay, alright. The message I'm trying to convey is finding inspiration in unlikely places. Many feel like they need to travel the world and live many unique experiences to find inspiration. But maybe your biggest rush of inspiration will come from something that you overlooked a million times.